Digital Talk Radio.
Hey, welcome to the big weekend edition broadcast of the Big PM Show. I'm Michael Horn, looking at our distinguished panel that's joining me on the show today. I don't understand where we got Scott St. James. Who's bending your microphone all over? Is that something you did, Scott St. James?
Probably, but I don't know.
I think we should bend it back up so we can actually see your... Yeah, wait a second. I haven't even introduced you yet. Paul Stern is also here. Hello, Paul.
Scott is bringing us back to the days of the Cowboy, to the days of Robert W. Morgan, the way they used to bend the microphone the way that they did.
Jose's going to fix it for you. There you go. That's Scott St. James, who's in here every Friday for the big show, ladies and gentlemen, has worked with so many professional broadcasters. He himself, one of the outstanding professional broadcasters of America today. But you work with Robert W. Morgan, just to name a few, Rick Dees. I'm just dropping names here. You're on television. So if there's anybody that knows mic technique, you would know great mic technique, correct?
Well,
so why the hell did you bend the microphone all over the place?
This makes me remember something that Frank Sinatra said.
Really?
Which was, and I'm the same way. I do it my way.
That's it.
What can I tell you?
Second time Frank Sinatra's been mentioned this week on this PM show. The great Fred Dreyer, the football and acting legend, talks about he loves baseball because he was originally going to be a baseball player. He went to college for that and then burnt his arm out. And he said that if he were in baseball, and you know how these players have the stupid walk-up music where they play like 10 seconds of La Cucaracha when the guy walks up and then he bats and strikes out. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. If it was identifiable walk-up music, Fred said that he would use Frank Sinatra music and he'd let the entire song play before he batted. Would actually step out of the box and make sure that the whole song played.
Well, I like that idea.
I think it'd be great. He said he'd have a microphone and he'd sing karaoke with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Like that,
great idea.
That's right.
Wonderful.
Empty up a couple of restaurants and just do all that stuff.
Exactly.
Get a bottle of Chianti and you're all set.
It would introduce Frank Sinatra to a whole new audience. And, you know, if you're going to do walk-up music, you're doing the song an injustice by only playing 10 seconds of it. Play the whole thing, you know?
Well, you know, I get reminded of Frank whenever I just think about it, because I remember when I was looking for the Gene Autry special that I did, and I went up on his door because I had a devil of a time finding him. And finally I get up to his front door.
Of his office you're talking about?
No, his home.
Oh, you worked for him?
No, I wasn't working for him. I was trying to get him to be part of the Autry special.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm trying to find him. So he had about 7 or 8 houses, and so
you're not going door to door in Bel Air.
Go to all of his houses to try to find him.
You're up to behind the gates in Bel Air.
I'm banging on the door and everything else, and then I look up and I see this sign, and it's from him, and it says there better be a damn good reason for ringing this bell.
That's pretty good.
He got my attention.
Was there really a sign that said that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There better be a damn good reason for ringing this bell. Yeah, I'll never forget. And then at the end when he ended up, being part of the thing that we were doing for the Autry thing, and he was great. He was great.
He was one of the nicest guys in the world.
I do it my way. That was him.
That's good. I would do Back in the Saddle again. In fact, if I played on the Angels, I think I might have a Gene Autry song as my walk-up song.
Well, I guarantee you I played that thing a few times because I was working for him.
Back in the Saddle again would be good as I come up there, you know, and get the old Giesenslaw brothers to kind of squeeze something out on the old squeeze box would be pretty good music.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Because you know the old man just around the corner, so you're going to play another record of his. That's all.
They're pretty quick songs.
Right.
All right, so that solves our baseball thing. We today on the show, it's part 2 of the great Don Barrett, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, good.
The LA radio legend. We talked about radio. We'll kind of recap that. Maybe it'll take an hour to recap that, but we're going to get into movies because he has a whole career in promotion.
I thought he was going to be here.
He's going to be here. Stay with us. Straight ahead.
Improve the look of your home for less with hardwood floors from Lumber Liquidators. Choose from over 400 styles of hardwood, bamboo, wood look tile, and more, all for a lot less than other stores. This week, get gorgeous pre-finished 3/4-inch solid copper Hevia hardwood for $3.29 and more from 99 cents. $2 instant savings on our hottest Bellawood matte finished hardwood floors. North American and European laminate from 49 cents and more.
And 18-month special financing.
For the floor you want at the price you deserve, visit LumberLiquidators.com to find a store near you.
Need a tractor for tough jobs? Do more for less with a Kubota L-Series compact tractor. Forged from our proven design and highest quality materials, Kubota has been committed to building the industry's best compact tractors for decades. Get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years during our More Power to You sales event. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about costs and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
Welcome back here to the PM show on CRN Digital Talk Radio. I'm Michael Horn. Joining us in studio today have the legendary radio broadcast team. Paul Stern is here. And we are waiting for Don Baird. Do you think he was going to show up here on the show?
Well, yeah, I did, because I was told that he was coming, so why shouldn't I believe that?
He's actually on the phone.
Okay.
We just have him right there. Don Baird, are you with us? Hello, Don Baird. Come in, please.
He's at a cafeteria.
Sounds like he is there. We're going to wait. I'm going to put him on hold because we have Scott St. James is here with us along with Paul Stern. And we're going to have the legendary Don Baird here on phone to do part 2 of his report that he had last week. He's got, now you worked, we should mention, I think, that Don Baird, a radio broadcaster.
Sure.
He was on the air.
Yep.
He was also a program director, a general manager.
Mm-hmm.
So he managed stations, worked for Gordon McClendon and so many great people along this, the list goes on and on and on. And then he became a promotion guy in the movie business, and we kind of left it there last week so we could have this second part of it. But then he became, for like 20 plus years, the creator and the operator of LARadio.com,
mm-hmm.
which was basically a news information blog, if you will, about radio in general. Am I right, Scott?
Yes, you are.
And Paul, you, of course, both of you subscribers reading it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more than a blog. I think it's like a website. I think it's like a whole kind of it's like an encyclopedia of LA radio.
Well, he kind of went on to the next phase now, and so I thought we'd get him on the show and talk a little bit about this. And I think he's ready to go. Don Baird, are you there? Don? All right, we got a problem with switches in there or something. We got some kind of a problem with the switchings because Don cannot hear us whatsoever.
Stuff happens.
So Don cannot hear us. So whatever you got to do to fix it, I need you to handle that for us. Thank you so much.
Stuff happens.
This is about the third time this has happened now. Is there something that's happened between everything? It happened earlier in the week.
You need to develop what they have in broadcast. It's called the look. The look of death.
You got the look of death. Welcome, Don Baird, to the show.
Hello there.
There you go. Thank you so much for getting everything set up here now. That's great. Now, we got the great Don Baird here. And, Don, when we had John last week, we were talking about an incredible radio career where, you actually made friends with, was it Earl McDaniel was kind of your mentor in radio?
He was my mentor. He was the big guns in radio back in the 50s and kind of guided not only my career but my life.
And as a kid, you kind of hung out at the station like I did with Corky Mayberry, and you just sort of watched and everything, and you kind of got an in the broadcasting business because he sort of took you under his wing and kind of mentored you.
Well, ever since then, I have been an enormous believer in mentorship, and I think it's important that those who have made it to some degree or another help somebody else along the way.
Exactly correct. And so then...
I mean, look what you've done for Paul Stern.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wait a second. Do we have that for us? Thank you. We just need that because Don Baird got
I just got the look of death.
There you go. I got the good one. Now, we've got... Don, from talking to Earl, and this was a fun thing. You went to him after you kind of graduated to college and everything, thought you were going to get a career, and he told you just to pack your bags and start driving from station to station. It wasn't the answer you expected to hear from him. Is that correct?
Boy, it wasn't. I thought I'd be given some cushy overnight or weekend job, but he had me every time there was a radio antenna go knock on the door.
And so you packed your bags. I think I wrote the date down here last week. You said it was in 1965 on March 10th. Is that right?
That's it.
That you packed your bags in the car and you went looking for. You literally packed, right? You were going to move if you got a job.
Well, his advice was that when you get that job, he said, eventually you will. Don't know where you'll end up. But you want to tell them you can start immediately, that you don't have to go back and get clothes or move or anything else, that you're ready to show up for work that moment.
What did your parents say about this? I mean, you pack your bags and you don't even know where you're going to be the next night.
I told them, I said, I'll keep you posted. I have no idea. So when I got that knock on the door at 1:15 that afternoon, I was on the air at 3 o'clock and didn't have to go back home.
Now, what goes through your mind when you do that? It was Lompoc, as I recall, Lompoc, California. Did you have in your mind the first radio show you were going to do? I mean, that would be kind of nerve-wracking. The guy says, hey, come on, kid, you're on at 3 o'clock today. What the heck do you do? What was your first show? What was your first record?
It was Stop in the Name of Love.
Supremes, I remember that.
Supremes, yeah.
And you were just, the enthusiasm and the adrenaline just carried you right through the shift, right?
It was it. I had no time to prepare, think what I was going to do, or anything else. In fact, I played another female as the second song, and I thought I would get fired right then and there. I mean, they came in and said, don't you know that you can't play two women back to back? I said, why is that? Well, they didn't have an answer, but those were the rules back then.
Still are the rules, you know. They still don't. You're smiling, Scott St. James. Did you get yelled at for doing that?
I did things my way. I was like Sinatra, man.
Sinatra.
That's all. I did it for more than 30 years. So
I got
nothing to say here.
I got lucky enough to be on a Burbank, LA station because Corky maybe put me on weekends, and then I got the all-night shift. And the guy that was on in the morning, how shall I put this? I think he used to like to party late at night and maybe...
Who, me?
No, not you. You weren't working at KQ, but it could have been you.
Could have been you.
I don't want to mention this gentleman's name out of respect to his family. And he would call me up, and there was obviously a woman with him. It was like, 3 o'clock in the morning. He says, hey, kid, you're way too friendly and you're being too syrupy and you get a little more attitude when you're doing all that. And he's going through those. I said, okay, thank you, Brad. I'll go ahead and take care of that. And then he says, by the way, call me at 5 o'clock and wake me up so I can get in for the morning show. So 5 o'clock comes and I call him up and there's obviously no answer. I'm sure the guy's been popping back a few shots all night long. 5:10, 5:15, 5:20. By 5:30 I thought, hell, I'm not calling him. So come 6 o'clock, I'm on the air. I'm the morning man on the radio station. Well, the guy that gave me my job didn't like that because people, the general manager and other management people started saying, what the hell is this kid on in the mornings for? And so he came in there and he said, you need to call me. He said, you better call me right now. I've just got a good mind now. I'm going to punish you. You're going to have to sit there and do the whole shift. And I went, great. I put a tape up. I was making air checks for other radio stations. And then the next guy didn't show up and he was running late. And then Corky said, I'll relieve you. But that was it. You just have to sit down and do it. Those days are gone from radio, Don Barrett.
Yeah, they're pretty much gone. I love the stories where the disc jockey wants to go outside for a smoke. He's working the all-night shift or the weekend shift and gets locked out of the radio station. It's just priceless.
That happened to one of the legends of radio, Sweet Dick Whittington. He and a young lady got locked up on the roof of the KFI building in Los Angeles. He had to throw stones to get his producer to open the door for him because they were hitting the glass and the guy was looking around and finally let him in. Quite interesting. You go out for a moment as a smoke and then you can't get back in. Now,
arguably, he is the most inventive personality LA radio ever had.
I agree with you on that, Don Barrett, and that gets back to your great column you had for years. So you start this radio career, and you worked with Gordon McClendon, and you became one of the seven outstanding, what were they called? The seven?
Magnificent Seven.
The Magnificent Seven, and you programmed FM radio and became a general manager, and then radio kind of, you kind of hang it up from radio at KIQQ in Los Angeles, is that right?
That was my last radio job.
And you decide you're going to get into promotional business, and I want to find out how that happened. So settle back. Let's get back into this, and we're going to find out the movie side of Don Barrett here on our broadcast today. Thanks, Don, for being with us, by the way. It's always
pleasure.
Privilege and a pleasure and an honor to have you with us. Are you excited about this, Scott St. James, or are you still singing My Way? You're hung up on
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. I do it my way.
Paul Stern, you got all the switches properly pressed, I hope?
I absolutely
Thank
do,
you,
sir.
sir.
Aye, Captain.
We'll continue straight ahead. It's the PM show.
Experience a luxury boutique hotel escape in the heart of Laguna Beach, California. With the finest art gallery, shopping, dining, and nightlife just steps from your door. the heart of Laguna Beach, the edge of the sea. It's the Inn at Laguna Beach. Enjoy our comfortable rooms, blending the style of a timeless beach bungalow with the modern comforts of today. 70 newly appointed guest rooms and suites await you at the Inn at Laguna Beach. Then, relax at the rooftop bar, where you'll indulge in breathtaking views of the ocean. For dining, you'll find libations and local cuisine on the California coastline, including dining at the legendary Las Brisas, a Southern California landmark. The Inn at Laguna Beach, footsteps from room to village to sea, located in the heart of Laguna Beach. The Inn is within walking distance of all that Laguna Beach has to offer. No car required. The Inn at Laguna Beach, 211 North Coast Highway in Laguna Beach, California. Call 800-544-4479 or visit inatlagunabeach.com.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club. Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Can you believe we're halfway through summer? Live a little without spending a lot. That might come as a shock, but good times are meant to be good times. Ooh, and in awe at Columbo's succulent, delicious steaks. The freshest offerings from the 7 seas. Italian specialties so outstanding that chefs from Rome and Milan come to Columbo's for training. Let's not forget their world-famous meatballs and join the chorus as another one bites the crust. Another one bites the crust. Yes, another one bites. Another one bites. Another one bites Columbo's world-famous pizza. Plus jazz every night. Columbo's is Good Time Central without breaking the bank. Columbo's, because it really is that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, manja.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-351-8614. That's 800-351-8614. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-351-8614.
Welcome back to the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Michael Horn, Scott St. James, Paul Stern, and we have as our guest the legendary Don Barrett. Great career of being a DJ, radio personality, a program director, national program director we found out about last week. Worked for the great Gordon McClendon. Eventually general manager, and then he launched a whole new format at KIQQ in Los Angeles. And then he hung him up from radio, and Don Barrett is with us here. Of course, the comprehensive LA Radio People blog listing of radio people in Southern California they did for 20-plus years. But in between radio and LA Radio People, Don Barrett was a promotional genius for the movie studios. Now, you're out of work. A lot of guys always say, what am I going to do when I'm out of work? You're at KIQQ. They sold the station, as I recall. Am I right, Don? That's why you didn't have any place to go and hang up your hat there at the K100?
Yeah, they had a great deal. They bought the station for $1.2 million, and
Wow.
2 years later they sold it for $4.3.
Wow.
And they thought they had died and gone to heaven to have that kind of return. So they sold it, and they went off.
So you're out of a gig, and so do you look for radio right away, or how do you get into the movie promotion business?
Well, I've always believed that, you just keep moving along with your heart and opportunities surface. And I guess I'm naive that way. And there was a fellow who, he and I went to movies a lot, and sometimes 3-4 times a week. And we just loved the movie business. And he had a neighbor who was starting the marketing department at Columbia Pictures. There was a time in the mid-'70s when Columbia Pictures was going to shut down. They were so much in debt, and the Bank of Boston came along, and they put all their liabilities together, and they got somebody to put some money in, and the station or the studio, just started from scratch. They had nothing in the pipeline. They had no movies in production, and they just started from scratch.
This is Columbia Pictures, the legendary picture company. Columbia Pictures was in debt and was going to shut down, and then they get some money, and they're starting fresh.
Yep.
Wow.
1974, and David Begelman was hired, who was a great agent, Judy Garland and Barbara Streisand, and so the new owners thought that David could bring a lot of high-profile people immediately and begin production. And our first three releases were Tommy, Shampoo, and Funny Lady. So we had a huge beginning. But going back to your question, what they were looking for is some young people who did not know anything about the longevity of marketing. They wanted a fresh approach, a new approach, and let's do it like it's never been done before. And it's strange that radio and the movie business have the same kind of elements. You can't touch it, you can't feel it, it's all in this theater of the mind. And so I luckily got interviewed for the job of promotion and got the gig, and we just went off and did some really interesting and different things.
In that time around 1974, a lot of the studios were struggling. People weren't going out to movies as much as they had gone out, correct?
Well, I absolutely were struggling, and it was, if you remember back to Easy Rider, it was really kind of a landmark film at the end of the 60s that took motion picture making out of the studio and back onto the streets. So what happened, everybody wanted something natural. Somebody wanted something that was different. They didn't want the same old studio movies that were shot on a lot, looked like they were shot on a lot. And so they were kind of feeling their way. They didn't quite know what to do.
So these movies, Tommy, Shampoo, and Funny Lady, somehow by the miraculous, because they're looking for something different, those are the first ones you have to promote?
First three, right.
So what do? You're new to the business. You've never promoted movies before. You're a radio guy. What goes through your brain?
Well, I used to love to play the pinball machine, and Tommy had that featured with the Elton John song. And so we took over the Los Angeles Coliseum, and we had the world's biggest pinball playoff. And Elton John was there to act as the master of ceremonies, and we had tens of thousands of people at the Coliseum to play pinball.
And so you met the great Elton John. You put this whole thing together. At the Coliseum, they're walking around, in the stadium itself or out on the...
Down on the floor, down on the grass.
What kind of a budget did you have to put that together?
Oh, probably less than six figures.
Wow. It's amazing. And so you pulled it off. It gets a lot of press, I'll bet, doesn't it?
Huge. So all of a sudden, not only Elton John was just hotter than a pistol, what happened is that we generated so much publicity, and that's what you try to do. You try to promote things that don't cost you any money. We got all the pinball machines donated by Gottlieb, I guess it was, out of Chicago, and they just kept trucking in more and more pinball machines. And then we got key radio stations around the United States, and we gave away the Tommy pinball machine.
Don Barrett is with us. We're talking studio promotion, loving these stories. It's the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
When it comes to blood pressure, for years the safe zone upper limit was 120/80. But now, according to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, slightly higher numbers may be okay. I'm Aileen Ellis. The experts say most people over 60 are fine if their BP is lower than 150/90. If you have kidney disease or diabetes, that top number should now be 140. Why are these findings important? Because now some people may not need to take blood pressure medication. So if your BP is in this okay range, talk to your doctor. And if your BP is still too high, try lifestyle changes. You might be able to get it down with weight loss, exercise, a low-salt diet, and drinking less booze. For more on blood pressure, just Google the words NIH and blood pressure. Remember, good blood pressure substantially cuts your risk of a heart attack and a stroke. That's Primetime Focus, brought to you by AARP.
Are you nearing eligibility for Medicare benefits? Then you know now is an important time in your life. Medicare benefits can be a complicated puzzle. You don't want to overpay for your Medicare coverage or get the wrong plan. Let Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. With one free phone call, a licensed insurance agent will help you select a Medicare plan that's right for you and your budget. If you're becoming eligible for Medicare, call today and learn how to get the most out of your benefits.
800-793-1960, 800-793-1960.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA or assumed name of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is an authorized insurance agency in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service and product availability varies by state.
Call 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960.
Need a tractor for tough jobs? Do more for less with a Kubota L-Series compact tractor. Forged from our proven design and highest quality materials, Kubota has been committed to building the industry's best compact tractors for decades. Get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years during our More Power to You sales event. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about cost and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
The Doug Stephan Good Day program, early morning radio, and I guess it is radio, although it's radio on TV because this is CRN Digital Talk. You can find out what's going on in the world. We talk about the issues of the day, the events of the day, the people that people are talking about. We have an interesting way of looking at the news and having a little fun with the issues. So if you want to have some fun, learn a few things, and get up on the right side of the world, Doug Stephan's Good Day program, weekday mornings, 2 to 7 a.m. on CRN Digital Talk.
PM show, weekend edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. I'm Michael Horn with the legendary Scott St. James.
Where's he at?
I'll tell you where he's at.
And of course the voice of the incredible Paul Stern here at the CRN Broadcast Center. And we're talking with Don Barrett, great radio personality, host, program director, general manager, formulator of formats, one of the Magnificent Seven with Gordon McClendon, one of the fabulous promotion guys now we're learning about of all time.
Yeah, before you get on with Don, I just want to just pass on this. I have heard so many stories from Don over years in poker rooms, on the phone, and everything else. And I guarantee you're not going to have enough time to hear all the stories that I've heard. And they're all good.
They're always
good.
There's always next Friday.
Yeah, they're all good. The stories are all good. I mean, they are.
They are excellent. We're hearing this. So Don Barrett gets out of the radio business, and he's, got a friend that's thinking about Columbia Pictures. Columbia Pictures is ready to hang him up, and they get a little influx of money. And so the great Columbia Pictures starts fresh, and they come out with some new projects. And the projects, listen to these three: Tommy, Shampoo, and Funny Lady are the first three movies they're going to do. Don Barrett gets hired as the promotion guy. What was the key thing that got you hired, Don? Did you say something and impress somebody? What happened?
Well, I wondered that too. I had lunch with the senior VP, and they said, "Well, tell me about yourself." Well, I don't think that there's a worse question that you can be asked, and so I kind of diverted to my background. I said, "Well, I love movies, and I was a drama minor in college and started in a lot of plays. I was a director and so forth. And he looked at me and he said, "You were a drama minor?" He says, "You're hired."
What?
I said, "What?" It literally, within 5 minutes, I was hired. And I asked him later what happened, and he said, anybody who is involved with stage work or promotion like that knows that when the curtain goes up, there better be people in the seats, all of the props are in the proper place, all of the actors and actresses need to have the right costumes on, and the lights have to work and so forth, because that's what the movie business is all about. We gear everything to a Friday opening.
That's a key thing. That's key.
And if you're not prepared, you don't get a second chance. It's like live TV, because by Saturday they know if you have a hit or not.
He really was. He was very creative. As a matter of fact, he has some great stories about Burt Reynolds, and it's his choice whether he wants to bring him up or not. But it's just he really does have a load full of these things, and I mean that.
Are you a drama person?
Ways.
Are you a drama?
A little bit, yeah.
None of the people here at CRN are. That's, of course, why Don Barrett's mic wasn't thrown on at the beginning of the... I'm just kidding, gentlemen. Yes, Paul Stern.
I hate to kind of put it this way, but I'd do anything to hear the good Burt Reynolds story.
Well, we'll get to that, but let's finish up. Please, you guys. Gentlemen, please. We'll get to the Burt Reynolds.
Scott?
He's Tommy. He's got this big promotion at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Pinball Wizard, one of the songs in the movie. And so Don puts his thing together for less than $100,000, and you're getting pinball machines given. They're giving them away. And you got Elton John there. And so what's the kicker of this whole thing?
The kicker to it is that when Elton John was pitched to have his likeness on the pinball machine, to have it called a Tommy, official Tommy pinball machine, we were afraid that his licensing rights would be astronomical and that we couldn't do it. And he was so involved in this production, so involved in the song, he was so involved in understanding that it was going to be unique and different. He said, "You can use my likeness. All I ask for in return is 2 pinball machines delivered to my home."
Oh my. You got he was a pinball wizard fanatic himself.
Yep.
Love that. That is a great story. All right, what about Shampoo? What do you do for that movie?
Well, at that time, Warren Beatty is just hot as can be. So what we needed to do is expose Warren Beatty to the best degree that we could. So we decided to take him on tour, and it's not done as much today as it used to be done. We love the grassroots part of it. But when you can walk into a newspaper office, and newspapers were still big back there in the 70s, and walk in with Warren Beatty, I'm telling you, everything stops.
I'll bet.
Everything stops. And so if you're pitching the front page of the calendar section and you want a story and a color photo and so forth, and color wasn't very big back in the 70s, it was too expensive. But when you said, I'm going to bring Warren Beatty by, but I want a cover that's in color of the Shampoo artwork, that's what you got.
Wow. So then you used the promotion of the star, bringing him into the newspapers to go ahead and get all that.
That's right. It was as simple as that. But you need the cooperation. You need all of these stars to acquiesce to get involved.
Now, he used to, by the way, Warren Beatty, I don't know if he still does, used to go to that restaurant in Santa Monica where the sawdust is on the floor. And go into that Shay J's. Yeah, Jay used to be there. Jay Sviandella or whatever used to have the hot air balloons, and Shay Jay, and they used to hang out there in this little area in the back there. Did you ever go there and meet with him at that restaurant?
Did not. It used to be old stomping grounds back in the day. But there's another restaurant that played an active role. On the night before a film opens, or the day before the film opens, he has a hot dog at a hot dog stand, kittywampus from Bob's Big Boy in North Hollywood or Toluca Lake.
Who, Warren Beatty does that?
Warren Beatty. He'll stand there and have a beer and a hot dog. And he did it for his first movie, and he's done it ever since because it brought him good luck.
I love this. All right, what about Funny Lady? Now you're getting into the Streisand stuff. What's it like to work with her? Do you use her? Do you take her to newspapers? What do you do promotionally for Funny Lady?
Well, she's as big as they get, so she wasn't, in going to make a tour around the United States. But what we did, we put together with a fellow by the name of Chris Eric Stevens, who was a radio production guy.
Yeah. Chris Eric Stevens talks like this a lot.
Well, okay.
He's good. He's got that great, his voice kind of cuts right through. Gets in there, yes.
But she agreed to do an interview with him.
Oh, wow.
For hours. And he put together a multiple interview with her that was given to stations that not only would play music from The Funny Lady, but would also promote an advanced screening.
So getting an interview, a long interview that the stations could then day part and use as they wanted to, were they able to cut it out so they could ask the questions themselves and that sort of thing?
They did do that, and they could cut it up to a half-hour show or a one-hour show, however they wanted to do it, and they could sell it themselves.
You little devil, Don Barrett, using your radio background. That was a good one. More with Don Barrett straight ahead.
Improve the look of your home for less with hardwood floors from Lumber Liquidators. Choose from over 400 styles of hardwood, bamboo, wood look tile, and more, all for a lot less than other stores. This week, get gorgeous pre-finished 3/4-inch solid copper Hevia hardwood for $3.29 and more from 99 cents. $2 instant savings on our hottest Bellawood matte finished hardwood floors. North American and European laminate from 49 cents and more.
And 18-month special financing.
For the floor you want at the price you deserve, visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
Hi, here's your delivery from Staples.com.
Thanks, Staples guy. My office is starving. Got any snacks?
Staples has pretzels, granola bars, energy bars, trail mix, all at a low price.
Nuts?
Cashews, almonds, pistachios, pecans, walnuts.
Chips?
Potato chips, corn chips, whole grain chips, gluten-free chips.
Whoa, that's a lot of snacks.
We also have antacids. Tablet antacids, liquid antacids. Make on budget happen, make break time happen. Staples, make more happen. Now at Staples, get a 42-ounce bag of M&M's milk chocolate or peanut candy for just $8.99.
Offer valid on SKU 689508 and 689504 and 523 while supplies last. See store staples.com for details.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems. Listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-351-8614. That's 800-351-8614. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-351-8614.
PM show nationwide, coast to coast from CRN Digital Talk Radio, the weekend edition. Michael Horn, Paul Stern, the legendary Scott St. James, and the one and only Mr. Don Barrett, walking down memory lane with Don. So Don, you've gotten into the radio promotional business, and you have the movie Tommy, Shampoo, and then Funny Lady from Columbia. And so you met Streisand. Was she great to work with? Not great? What's the kicker on that one?
She was fine, very professional.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was it. All right, good. And then, were you at Columbia for a while? Because they started having all those big movies then with Chris Christopherson and all A Star Is Born. Were you around for that one, or did you move along? What were the other movies you did at Columbia?
The next movie, big movie we did at Columbia was The Deep.
Oh, yeah.
Jacqueline Bisset. Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Wait a second. The Deep with Jacqueline Bisset?
Oh, man. Yes.
Did you do something with KRLA Radio on that at Century City where they had the thing up there and all that? Or no, there were T-shirts I think we gave away on the air for The Deep. Was that correct?
Well, the interesting thing is that Jacqueline Bisset was...
Bisset, I'm sorry.
Had the opportunity to...
Excuse me, Jacqueline.
Approve all of the artwork that was taken. And there was one piece of artwork that she had X'd out, and we somehow found a way to put it on the poster and T-shirts and everything else. But it was her underwater, and her T-shirt was very revealing.
Yeah, that's the T-shirt that we gave away.
Yeah,
I remember that.
But, it got a lot of buzz and a lot of talk. And the problem was for her is that her father was a preacher back in England or wherever she came from, and was embarrassed by it. So it was a to-do for a while, and then the movie became such a hit, nobody seemed to mind anymore.
We used to have the Hitman contest at KRLA and Hit Radio 11, and so we would love to get these shirts. A lot of stations would not want to give away shirts. We would grab these, and then we'd take them to Ellen's T-shirts, and she'd screen KRLA on the back of them.
Sure.
So I just wanted to let you know what we did with your shirts.
Oh, that's fine.
And I have some collections. I can't fit into them anymore because I didn't think they made portly at the time, and I wasn't smart enough to think ahead for later in my life. But it was a nice shirt. Okay, so Jacqueline Bisset, you did that with The Deep, and then what else? Who else?
Well, we had Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Come on. You had all the blockbusters.
Yeah, we had a...
That wasn't Columbia, though. Was it Columbia Close Encounters?
It was Columbia Pictures.
All right, you should know. Go ahead. Tell us about it.
We put on the biggest press junket in the world for that time. We took over the Bonaventure Hotel, which was relatively new at that time and kind of futuristic looking, and we invited the press from every single area. So it wasn't just entertainment. We had religion. We had the thought provokers. We had those who wrote editorials. Was this possible? Could man get involved with, a close encounter? We took advantage of what a close encounter of a first kind was, a second kind, and a third kind. And it was just everybody was on edge. And we opened up at the Cinerama Dome, broke all sorts of records that held for a long, long, long time.
And that was with the Richard Dreyfuss was in that, right?
Yeah, Dreyfuss and what was that other?
Terry, what's her name? Was it? Come on, the great actress that was always fun with David Letterman. We're getting old, Don Barry.
Yeah, Tony Garr.
Tony Garr. Terry
Garr.
Garr. There you go. And then with mashed potatoes, did you do anything with that? Because wasn't he always modeling the mashed potatoes to try to make that thing that was in his brain there? He was playing with that?
We didn't do anything with the mashed potatoes. It kind of follows along the line that we believe that you never promote a promotion. You always promote the movie. So to promote the mashed potatoes, there would be no way to connect that with the movie until you saw the movie.
Promote the movie. Gotcha. Okay, so what else besides The Deep and Close Encounters, and what else?
Then I moved to Universal Pictures.
All right, so now you're at Universal, and what are you doing over there? And why did you move? What happened that you moved to Universal?
Well, in between, I went with a company called AFD. Sir Lou Grade owned it. And he wanted to be an international maker of movies and distributor of movies. So he had On Golden Pond, The Legend of the Lone Ranger, The Jazz Singer with Neil Diamond.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting story with Neil Diamond. We got him on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And he says, I'm not doing Johnny Carson. I'm not going to do anything. Just put my name on the marquee and just get out of the way so you don't get trampled.
Did he not go on Johnny Carson then?
Did not.
That's what he said.
Wow.
And the movie was, one of those movies that could have been big and
could have been
really a stiff. Not blaming it on that decision, but it was just kind of the challenges that you have as you go along.
Yeah, you have to go with your stars. And he was huge record-wise at the time, and probably, you can't just believe your own press. You still have to go out, and people have to know you got something new going on.
Well, I worked on a Madonna movie at the height of her excitement. She was on the cover of every single magazine that there was, and there's a big difference between being a celebrity and a movie star. And as big as she was as a celebrity, it never translated into her movie career. So that's the thing that you have to look out for. So Neil Diamond was big as a singer. He had the Greek theater album,
Hot August Night,
but nobody knew him as an actor. So you had to sell that part of him, that not only was he a wonderful, believable character, there's also music in it too. But he just thought, the name would do it.
The great Don Barrett is with us here. We're talking movie promotion from his radio career to movies. And then after movies, what is that when you started doing your radio blog and the LAradio.com site?
Pretty much.
All right, we got more though. We're still at Universal. And we hopefully we'll get to Burt Reynolds. Otherwise, Scott St. James here will have to come back again next week. Scott, can you come back?
Sure.
That could be a tease for us because I think there's a lot to come up. Straight ahead, more with the legendary
I got a couple stories about him.
Ooh, Neil Diamond?
well, him too.
Let me take just a moment or two, if I may, and talk about a great place to eat. That's right. For you folks anywhere in the eastern San Fernando Valley, drop into Bob's Big Boys. That's right. In Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. Now, everybody remembers the name Bob's. They're getting bigger and bigger every day. And little old Bob carrying the hamburger in his checkered overalls is the same Bob that you remember from back through the years. And, of course, if you want to go in for a great lunch, remember their classic burger, the original double-deck hamburger combination. Delicious 100% pure ground beef in 2 patties with American cheese, lettuce, and our famous Big Boy special sauce. The name is Bob, and I think when you go in, you'll say, by golly, I'm sure glad that I found this restaurant because it's good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They've got all kinds of things, and all you have to do is remember. Bob's Big Boy in Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. It's a great place to eat.
Have you ever considered adding a home security system but thought it would be too expensive? Here's the good news. There's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home, valuables, and your loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Here's even better news. Your new system, worth $850, is free. You pay just a $99 installation charge and purchase monthly monitoring for less than $2 a day. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Get the peace of mind that comes with owning an ADT monitored system, plus a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home. Call now, 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
Medical bills can add up, but you may be able to pay less. Ask your doctor for a discount. According to the AARP Bulletin, over 60% of those who do get a yes. Check your medical bills. 8 out of 10 contain errors. Lowering how much you pay for meds is possible, too. If you're taking a brand-name drug, check the drug maker's website. Sometimes it offers coupons or discount cards. My husband got one med for 50% less. Next, enroll in your employer's flexible spending account. Then you can pay eligible out-of-pocket health care expenses with pre-tax dollars, lowering what you owe on tax day. Keep track of all medical expenses. In a year when things really add up, itemize. You may lower your taxes this way. Call your doctors and pharmacy if you need to get totals you paid for the year. For more ways to save, check out the AARP Bulletin online at aarp.org. I'm Aileen Ellis. That's Primetime Focus, brought to you by AARP.
Welcome back to the PM Show, Weekend Edition. CRN, the Crisis Radio Network. Whenever there's a crisis, you tune in right here to us. The C stands for Scott St. James is with us, Paul Stern, and Don Barrett, ladies and gentlemen, one of the great people in entertainment, a radio guy, movie guy, guy knows how to use social media and the internet and the blogs and everything with his LARadio.com site for 20 plus years. We're talking about his career after radio, where he worked for Columbia and then got over to Universal, and we Neil Diamond, the jazz singer. He said Neil refused to go on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, which was one of the huge, if you can get a guest on there, what a great way to promote a movie. That was a mistake. That movie was good, but it could have been incredible. Am I right?
Yeah, you just never know what people get excited about and what they don't get excited about, and it was just a problem.
What about the legend, the legend of the Lone Ranger? Was that the one with Johnny Depp?
No, the Lone Ranger that we had was with Clinton Spilsbury.
He ran for president later, I believe. Clinton. Now, Clinton Spilsbury, who is he?
Well, he was just a pretty boy at the time. And we got him on one of the late-night talk shows, and it was on the contingency that he would wear Lone Ranger mask. I mean, why else would you have Clinton Spilsbury on? And he refused to wear the mask.
Wow.
So
And there was
didn't have him on.
controversy with that, too, because Clayton Moore, who was the television Lone Ranger, had to give up the fact that he couldn't wear the mask anymore because the new guy was going to wear it. Wasn't that a whole big deal about that?
Yeah, he had to wear sunglasses. But in this particular case, the owner of the Lone Ranger was one of the producers of this film.
Oh, boy. All right. So then what else did you do at Universal? So you had a great success at Columbia. Now these are kind of go there. What about, you said there was a Titanic film or something?
Well, when we were with AFD, the Raise the Titanic, which starred Jason Robards, that nobody's heard of, came out in 1980. It was so bad, I remember one of the reviews, the headline was, it would have been cheaper to lower the Atlantic.
Jason Robards, he was married to Lorna Bacall, I believe.
Yeah.
That's
an alcohol problem, I remember, if I'm not
You
mistaken.
like all that. So you're kind of like, Paul was the TMZ of his day back there in 1980. What other movies at Universal?
Back to the Future has kind of an interesting story to it.
That's a good one.
They began filming that with Eric Stoltz in the lead role.
Really?
And 30 days into it, Sid Sheinberg, who's president of Universal, didn't like what was going on and decided to shut down production and find another person to play the lead. And they decided that they would give the opportunity to Family Ties, Michael J. Fox. And he had never had any movie experience, and so here he was, and all of a sudden he clicked. He felt good in that role, and it really became a real coup in putting him there. The movie turned out to be so great in the spring of that year that they wanted to move the movie up to July 4th weekend. It was originally scheduled for August or September, kind of where you put all the dying movies. But they were so thrilled with the first cut of the film, they wanted to use Michael J. Fox in all the publicity and promotion, and he was over in Oxford, England, filming the opening sequence to Family Ties, where he's on the Oxford rowing team. And so I flew over there and spent a week with Michael and his parents.
Wow.
And we did interviews every night after the shoot of Family Ties all around the United States. It was really and he couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Don Barrett, we still are going to have to, I'm sorry, we're going to have to ask you to come back one more week because we have not talked about James Bond movies, and we definitely have not talked about Burt Reynolds, which these two gentlemen want to hear about.
No, we can get past that.
So I'm going to ask you if you're around, if you can come back next Friday. Can you, DB?
Well, we'll talk about it.
All right. DB's getting tired of being on the show, but there's so much good stuff. Thank you, Don Barrett. Thank you, Scott St. James, Paul Stern. Thanks to Courtney, our producer. I'm Michael Horn. Have a great weekend.
Which is most important because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio shows sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hart,